What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got the final of the Archon Vault Tour, which was at Pax Unplugged this past weekend. Huge, gigantic shout out to the lovely folks from Bouncing Deathquark. You can see their mats on the screen at the moment. They were the ones that did stream this, it is their footage, but I messaged them on Facebook and I went, hey, I quite enjoy commentating Keyforge games. Would you mind ever so much if I added some commentary to yours? And they went, so what you want to do is take our footage and just record new commentary over a muted version of it and then upload it to your channel? And I went, yeah. And they were like, yeah, cool, go for it. Because they're lovely people. And I've said many times before, when we help each other out as content creators, as a community, everybody wins. So gigantic shout out to Bouncing Deathquark, without whom I quite literally would not be able to do this video. So on the left, we've got Justin playing Light Tasker Market Sheriff. That is a deck which, on the face of it, I mean, they both look really good. What is weird about Light Tasker is that it is a Worlds Collide deck. Worlds Collide only just came out. It has just been released. Well, I say just. It came out in November. So a couple weeks before this Vault Tour. And we've already got one to the final, which means we could actually see this. And Age of Ascension, I mean, look, in sealed tournaments, Age of Ascension has done well. It's had to, but because you have to play Age of Ascension. But in Archon tournaments, we've not seen much. Worlds Collide has already made it to a final. Now, if we look at the deck, it is a Dis logo shadow deck. Double Infernus is going to be fun to track, and obviously lots of stealing. On the right, we've got Kevin with Despot, Salaman, the Pompous Antagonizer, a logo shadows Untamed deck. And it is nuts. Untamed has Full Moon, Free Hunting Witch, and a Key Charge, though only 6 Untamed creatures in total. And we got a Time Traveler deck with Library Access, Double Mother. It really is a somewhat ridiculous deck. It is all the best bits of Call of the Archons. It is logos with ridiculous draw. To be fair, the Shadows does not have as much stealing as you might want. Treble Umbra. It's got Skirmish and steals an Amber when it fights, but with Skirmish you will definitely survive the fight. Treble Nerve Blast, steal an Amber and deal 2 damage to a creature. And Bait and Switch, but not too much to protect. Though as a side note, we do see too much to protect in Justin's deck. And we got Untamed. It's one of the Amber Rush decks. It is an Untamed Call of the Archons Amber Rush deck. And it rushes Amber exactly like we expect Untamed to do in Call of the Archons. So being an Archon tournament, you do have an opportunity to have a look at your opponent's deck list before the game commences. That's what we just saw there. And when you see players like Justin and Kevin, right, they're at the final of an Archon Vault Tour. They didn't just pop up and open a deck and have a good run. This is where you bring your best deck. So this is a kind of tournament that you plan for and you test for and you pick your very best deck. This is not the tournament where you rock up and open a deck and cross your fingers. So it suffices to say that these players are extremely good players, and they are ones where you should expect them to have a pretty good knowledge of the game. So when they're looking at the list, I mean, they're doing what I'm doing, right? Justin is looking at Kevin's list and going, oh, he's got Treble, Hunting Witch, and Key Charge, and Full Moon. He's got Amber Rush and can forge keys out of turn using Untamed. That's awkward. But he's also got a huge amount of draw in his logos deck. I need to be careful. Now, one of the things Kevin's going to be looking at is Double Infernus. Infernus lets you purge 2 cards from a discard pile, and your opponent loses Amber equal to the total Amber bonus. And Kevin's got 2 Ghostly Hand, each of which has a double Amber bonus. You know Infernus at some point is going to be going after those Ghostly Hand in Kevin's discard pile, trying to get rid of them, and potentially making Kevin lose like 4 Amber in one go. Now, are they both mulliganing here? Remember, at the start of a game of Keyforge, you have the opportunity to take a mulligan. That is, you look at your opening hand and go, nope, and you shuffle it in and just draw an extra number of cards. Well, the same number of cards minus 1, I should say. If you're going first, mulliganing's not a big deal. Because you're going to draw until you've got 6 cards at the end of your turn anyway. And you can only play a single card going first. So, frankly, if I don't have a really good opening hand, I'm kind of a fan of mulliganing. Especially in those decks where there's one card that I really want to draw turn 1. So yes, we do, I believe that was a double mulligan there. Because it looks like Kevin's got 5 cards and Justin's got 6. Cool. So, what are we doing? Who's off? Okay, so straight away we just see Justin dropping down a Jargoggle, puts a card under it. That card's going to come out when Jargoggle gets destroyed. On Justin's turn it would be played, but on Kevin's turn it would be archived, ready for Justin to use later. Now we do see Safe Place coming down, giving an Amber bonus. There's one of those free Umbra, and then just discarding a couple of cards as well. Well, no, he couldn't really have done very much there. Nerve Blast does damage only if you steal. There's nothing to steal. Bait and switch steals. There's nothing to steal. But you see Kevin just emptying out his hand there, allowing him to draw more cards at the end of his turn. So there we see. I like this. He uses Jargoggle to fight Umbra. Jargoggle gets destroyed, which plays a card under him, which is Snack Lifter, that takes your opponent's artifact. So that was a really nice play there. Also played Cutthroat Research, I believe, for the Amber bonus. Did he? Or did he just discard it? Either way. Oh, no, he did. No, he did get the Amber bonus. That's why there is an Amber there on his side of the field. It's always weird seeing where they put them. So Kevin plays 2 more Umbra, and that's his turn, it looks like. Just plays 2 Umbra, and I think that's it. So what Justin basically did there, and he has dropped an Eddie down, he stashed Necklifter under Jargoggle going, I'm going to wait till you play a really good artifact, and then I'm going to nick it. I will have this card ready to go. A really nice play. Now, Eddie will actually increase the cost of Kevin forging by 1 for each of his archived cards. We see Snacklifter taking out Umbra there, and we see a Whisper coming down. Remember, Umbra's got Skirmish and steals an Amber when it fights, so if Kevin can have free Umbra just sitting there on the field, he can basically nick free Amber every Shadow's turn by fighting with the free Umbra. That is not something that he wants to do. Well, it's something that Kevin wants to do. It's not something that Justin wants to let him. So Dexter comes down and captures an Amber. Mother comes down. And remember that Mother lets you draw an extra card at the end of your turn. Ooh, and then we see a Fogify. Fogify means your opponent cannot use creatures to fight on their next turn, which is pretty huge. Kevin's basically going, look, I want my Umbra to actually be alive for a turn to use it. Hasn't happened yet. He's got 3 Umbra down, and the first 2 Umbra actually got taken out before they could ever get round to fighting. Because remember, creatures come in exhausted and then ready at the end of your turn, and then Justin just took the pair of them out. So we do see a Javinder down, along with the Whisper for Justin. And he's got 1 archived card. Remember, with Eddie on the field, Kevin is paying 1 more Amber to forge for each archived card. So at the moment, Kevin cannot forge for 6 Amber. He would have to pay 7 Amber to actually go about and forge here. It's not ideal. So he plays down a Library of the Damned. There's a great combo here, of course, because Library of the Damned lets you archive a card every turn. Well, every disc turn. We then see a Rotgub and a Buzzle coming down. Rotgub makes your opponent lose an Amber, which is why Kevin lost 1 there. And that looks like a Snag as well. Snag basically lets you choose your opponent's active house the next turn by fighting. You fight, and then whatever you fight, your opponent has to choose that house as their active house next turn. Snag's kind of fun. So we do see Justin building up quite a battle line here. He's got 3 disc creatures, 2 shadows creatures, 1 logos. Oh, now Full Moon comes down from Kevin. He's going to gain an Amber every time he plays a creature. That's a Hunting Witch. Okay, so now he picks up the Hunting Witch, using Nature's Call with an Amber bonus, incidentally, and also makes his opponent pick up a Buzzle. Just get it off the board, give him fewer options. He didn't really want to leave Justin with 3 disc creatures on the board, because if you leave your opponent with 3 disc creatures, he gets rid of Snag as well, just back to Justin's hand. You run the risk of your opponent just being able to to reap constantly and then forge. Plays back down the Hunting Witch to get another Amber, and then plays a Way of the Bear onto Mother, mostly for the Amber bonus at the moment. Way of the Bear gives your creature Assault 2. Before this creature attacks, deal 2 damage to the attacked enemy. And interestingly enough, there are 2 creatures on Justin's board with 2 power or lower, so Mother could go after Javinder or Rockgub here and actually take them out without taking any damage back. I keep saying Rockgub, it's Rockgrub. There is an R in there. So, looks like Kevin's having the better of the early exchanges, though he is going to want to get rid of that Eddie sooner rather than later. That Eddie's going to get annoying. Remember, that Library of the Damned is going to allow Justin to archive a card every disc turn, and he actually has 2 Library of the Damned. Ooh, so what he did there, he played down Buzzle, he then played down Snag next to it, he then used, well, when you play or fight, you may purge one of Buzzle's neighbours, and if you do, ready Buzzle. And then he uses that to take out some creatures. Nice. I'm cool with that. Now he's using Library of the Damned to archive a card, and really, for as long as Eddie can stay on the board, what Justin is going to want to do here is just build up an archive. Try and get a lot of cards in his archive and then go, oh, what's that, Kevin? You want to forward for 6 Amber? Well, if I didn't have 5 cards in my archive, you totally could. But I do have 5 cards in my archive, pay 11. So Hysteria comes down now, and Hysteria just puts every creature back into its owner's hand. We see Buzzle come back down again, and that looks to be the end of Justin's turn. Now, it looks like there are 3 cards in the archive here, which means that Kevin will now be paying an extra 3 Amber to forge, or 9 Amber in total. He wasn't on check, but if he was on check, he would have just been taken off of check. Now, the thing to bear in mind here, of course, we're at a Vault Tour final. Both these decks have won a lot. So Hunting Witch comes down. Now, I was going to say, Mighty Tiger gets an Amber. Hunting Witch has the same effect as Full Moon. Vigor comes down for the Amber bonus. There's nothing to heal. And even though he's got 7 Amber, he's not currently on check, because his opponent has 3 cards. Oh, no, because Eddie's gone. So he is on check now. Eddie's not on the field at the moment, so no, Kevin very much is on check. Eddie is an awkward card to keep track of when you're commentating, because you've got to keep track of how many cards are in the archive, and you spend so much time looking at how many cards are in the archive, you forget when Eddie's not actually there. So Tortle Vapors comes down, draw 2 cards and archive a card. Again, this is a deck with a lot of archiving. Eddie's not always a great card, but if you've got a deck with a lot of archiving, Eddie becomes a really good card. So Wormhole Technician comes down, Group Think Tank comes down, and obviously Eddie comes down as well. I think there might be 5 cards in the archive now, which means that Kevin's not paying 6 Amber to forge, he's paying 11. When Worlds Collide was being spoiled, Eddie was one of the cards that really jumped out to me as an, in the right deck, this could be an absolutely monstrous card. Kind of card. And this seems like it might be the right kind of deck. You're making your opponent just pay so much Amber. So we do see a remote access, I believe that is, coming down there, using Library of the Damned, just to, well, archive a card. And you get an Amber bonus, which is always nice. You get to use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. The other cool thing about that is that it exhausts the artifact, and of course it only gets readied at the end of your turn, so Justin's not going to be able to use Library of the Damned on his next turn because it's going to start exhausted. So we do see a Dexter there, that's captured an Amber. We do see a Mother as well, and Kevin's actually built up a stash of 10 Amber. That's quite a lot. I don't think it's enough, mind you. I want to say Justin's got 5 cards in his archive. From this angle, it's near impossible to tell. I'd like a dice, quite frankly, or a die. I'd like a die there with a number on showing how many cards are in his archive. That would make my life easier. They're probably not thinking about me when they're playing this game, but I'd kind of like it if they were. Hey-ho. So, we got 3 Logos creatures ready, so if Justin does go Logos here, that is going to give him quite a lot of options. So, Group Think Tank looks like it might be being used. It allows you to move a creature somewhere else in your opponent's battle line. Sorry, it's got an action that deals 4 damage to each creature that shares a house of at least one of its neighbours. My apologies. Okay, so we got more archiving going on here. Because we had the Tortor Vapors, draw 2 cards, archive a card. Now we've got Igor that lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand and discard the other 2. And Igor's a weird one. It looks so underwhelming, but when you're playing with 36 card decks, that gives you a look at 1/12 of your deck. It's like 8.5% if my maths is correct. That's huge. Okay. Now, I didn't quite see what he was able to grab off that, although it looks like it was a Quant. Quant, when you reap, you may play 1 non-Logos action card this turn. Only action card, but still. So we end the turn with Justin having 3 amber, and I don't believe we're going to see Kevin forge here. And this is disheartening. Like, Kevin's got 10 amber and isn't forging a key. And we've seen games like this. Oh, Poison Wave deals 2 damage to each creature. And I believe that is each creature, yours and your opponent's. Does take down the Igor. Everything else survives, but now that Eddie's only got 1 health essentially remaining. Oh, then comes down a Nerve Blast, steal an amber, which then lets you do some damage, which you've got to think is Eddie. And now Eddie goes away, and now Kevin is forging for 6 amber, and he's got 11? No, 12. He's got 12 amber there. So now he's actually got enough amber to forge 2 keys. And the question for Justin is, how fast can he get Eddie back onto the field? Now, the other cool thing about Eddie is, when Eddie goes down, you hopefully still have a large archive. So there is a possibility of going, oh no, I've lost Eddie. Well, suppose I could just pick up my archive and have a monster turn. Of course, the other option here is leave your archive as it is. The bigger your archive is, the smaller your deck is, and the faster you're going to be able to go back around and grab your Eddie. But it looks like Justin's gone for the monster turn option. So Too Much to Protect will steal all but 6 amber. So now Kevin goes down from 12 to 6, and Justin goes up from 3 to 9. And you even get an amber bonus for playing it. Too Much to Protect is one of the very, very best cards in the entire game. It is completely and utterly busted. We now see a Mug coming down. Lets you move an amber from a creature to your pool and deal 2 damage to that creature. Nice. Down goes the Mighty Tiger. Justin's on at 10 amber at this stage and Kevin's on 6. We now see an Umbra coming down from Justin, and Kevin's thinking that's my move. Double J Vinder and discards the Bad Penny. J Vinder and Bad Penny do make a very nice combo. J Vinder, when you reap, you get to deal 1 damage to a creature. If it destroys that creature, steal an amber. So, of course, you can just keep doing that to Bad Penny, who keeps bouncing back to your hand. So we see Time Traveler coming down. Grab yourself an amber, draw yourself 2 cards. We don't have phenomenal mid-turn draw in Keyforge, so something like Time Traveler just becomes a really, over-the-top good card. And then we see Dexter coming down to capture an amber. There are 2 Dexter in Kevin's deck, which is why we're seeing Dexter come down quite so often. We see Doc Bookton coming down, lets you draw a card when you reap. And we've actually got a large battle line now of Logos creatures. Kevin's rocking into that stage of the game where he's going to potentially be able to quintuple reap. Although there's no way Justin's actually going to let him get there. It is worth noting that Justin's got 3 logos and 3 shadows creatures, so he's not exactly doing bad on the battle line here. And I didn't actually say it, so let's say it now. Kevin has forged his first key. Getting rid of the Eddie really did make all the difference. So now we see Umbra going down. You will have to forgive the slight little jump there. My apologies on that one. So we've got 1 key forged now for Justin. We've got 1 key forged for Kevin. We flicked over into part 2. It had to be cut into 2 parts initially, so we are joining in here on part 2. And what we've got here is Justin seems in pretty good command here. He's got that pretty good setup. Now he's actually playing Infernus here. He's not cost his opponent much amber, but of course Kevin doesn't have much amber. But what Justin's doing is just purging cards. Oh no, he's actually getting rid of Nature's Call here. So Infernus, no, he played a double Infernus there, and what he actually did was purge 4 cards. He got Nature's Call and he got Bait and Switch, and basically just getting rid of the best cards that Kevin seems to have in his deck. So we got a really nice disc turn coming from Justin here. So in the slight little gap we had there, Justin managed to forge his first key, go into a disc turn, get a couple of Infernus down. He's got a Snaglet, he's got a Rock Grub. And if we look here, it might be 1 key all, but Justin's got 4 amber to Kevin's none. And Snecklifter just got Kevin his safe place back. Remember, that safe place was actually Justin's. Oh, now here's a fun one. Kevin plays double Ghostly Hand right after Justin played double Infernus. I know, right? And that may well have been a deliberate choice. Might have been just how the cards came out of the deck, but there's a decent chance that was a deliberate choice on Kevin's part there, so that was fun. I enjoyed that. Justin probably less so. So we do see a fair amount of amber, and we did see Kevin there. He moved an amber to his safe place, because remember that safe place lets you spend amber on it, and you can move amber over. Although if safe place gets removed, the amber goes back to the common pool. So we got Ronnie Risklots coming down here, stealing amber. That's kind of what Ronnie tends to do. And Justin actually here looks like he's put himself up onto check very, very quickly. I don't believe that in Kevin's deck he's got many options for increasing the cost of forging keys. There ain't no Eddie. Now, having said that, Eddie was a weird one this game. It did huge work early, and then kind of went away. Oh, now this is a good one. Kaimor Eclipse shuffles all creatures on a flank into their opponent's deck. And of course, what you really want to try and do here is shuffle your Infernus back in. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so because Snaglets, well, there were actually 2 creatures to the side of 1 Infernus, but he was able to keep 1 on a flank, and now that Infernus is back in his deck, and it's not a huge deck at this stage, so he's going to draw back into it quite soon. Now Ronnie comes down and steals the very last amber that Kevin's actually got, and it certainly looks like Justin's in a better position to forge his second key. Remember, we had a big turning point where Kevin dropped too much to protect, which is not a card that Kevin has. Justin's got it, Kevin doesn't. So, what's Kevin got to answer here? He's got a key forged, but he's only got 1 key forged. He's got no amber on the board. His opponent is on check plus 3 amber, and Justin has got a significantly better battle line rolling than Kevin here. So Justin seems like he's in pretty good control of this game. And we've seen topsy-turvy games, but the thing is, I mean, what Kevin's really looking for here is a key charge turn. A turn where he's able to Full Moon and Hunting Witch and... oh, there's a Hunting Witch at least. Just build up a bunch of amber and then key charge to get a key in the middle of his turn. Now, Witch the Eye will get him an amber because of Hunting Witch. And then Ancient Bear gets him an amber because of Hunting Witch. Plays down a Ritual Balance. Nice for stealing amber. It's not huge. It's just a nice little artifact where if your opponent's got 6 or more amber, you steal one. Can't use it this turn, but it should come in handy in the future. Also, big up to Kevin there, making really sure he's not drawing too many cards. That is excellent practice if you can get in the habit. Now, Justin forges his second key here, and he's already halfway to check. And honestly, if we look at his battle line, he can reap for free with Shadows, or he can reap for free with this, or he can reap for 2 with Logos. So there's 2 different houses here that could put him onto check just with reaping. Now, it looks like he's using Infernus to take down Witch of the Eye. Can't argue with that play. Witch of the Eye is amazing. Plays down another Infernus. And now you've got to think, oh no, Time Traveler goes there. I mean, something with an Amber bonus would get rid of Kevin's other Amber, but Witch of the Eye is such a good card. Yeah, Poison Wave here. And what we do here is get rid of 2 cards of Amber bonuses so that Kevin loses both his Amber. And now we got 6 cards. That's 1/6 of Kevin's deck has gone and got purged here. Hunting Witch goes down because of Snaglet there. And it does look like Rock Grub is just... yeah, just reaping. Grabbing some Amber. Does he have any Amber bonuses? He's got a Library of the Damned. Oh, discards Harbinger of Doom. But no, not able to leave himself on check. But Justin's deck isn't a rush deck like that. He doesn't need to rush forward for a bunch of Amber. What Justin's doing so beautifully this game is essentially controlling Kevin's side of the board. Keeping Kevin's battle line nice and small. Purging a bunch of cards that Kevin would probably rather keep. And really just stopping Kevin's options. So rather than rush ahead and going, I've got 6 Amber, if you can't steal any, I'm going to forge next turn, bearing in mind Kevin's playing Shadows and probably can steal some Amber, he's going, I'm going to take a couple more turns, I'm going to play a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberately, and then in a couple of turns, I'm going to pop up and be like, yo, yeah, there's not much you can do at this stage, sorry about that. It's good play. It's good times. Now, Kevin here is really, really behind the 8 ball. He's got a worse battle line, fewer keys, less Amber. And I don't... like, looking at what he's got on the board, there isn't too much. He can go Untamed and use Ritual of Balance to steal an Amber. Except he can't because his opponent doesn't even have 6. So he reaps with Doc Buckden, draws a card. He's got Dexter that he can reap with. Ooh, Help from Future Self would be fun. Except remember how Time Traveler got purged? I mean, Time Traveler was clearly the best option. And you saw when Justin was considering what to go and purge with Infernus, and double Infernus, incidentally, is nasty in a deck. He went straight for the Time Traveler, and then had a good old think about what the other one purge should be. Which, of course, eminently sensible, because it's not just that Time Traveler gives you an Amber bonus and draws 2 cards, it's that Help from Future Self makes it so much easier to actually find. Okay, Double Mother coming down here is really nice, and Dexter comes to capture an Amber. This could work. I'm loving this. Because now he's drawing an extra 2 cards at the end of his turn, and he's got Doc Buckden to draw extra cards. Maybe, if the game goes on a little bit longer, maybe, and just reaps with Dexter there to gain another Amber, maybe Kevin can maneuver himself here such that he's drawing a bunch of cards and reaping loads with Logos. I just don't know how much he's going to be able to do that. Looking at Justin's battle line here. Justin seems to be in a much better position, and he can just take out a bunch of these creatures if he's worried. Kevin's got a good battle line full of Logos creatures, but I don't know if it's exactly going to be enough. The other thing is, we know that there is a Hysteria in Justin's deck, and that can make Kevin pick up all of his creatures. Though he could, I suppose, replay down the Dexter, but even that wouldn't do anything. When you play Hysteria, Dexter goes to Kevin's hand, Justin gets the Amber back, and then Dexter gets replayed and recaptures it, but we're all in the same position we were in before. So, What does Justin need to do to finish out this game? So it seems like he's going for snag. Now he's fighting Dexter here, which is then locking Kevin into a Logos turn. Now he is using Infernus there as well. Now he plays Not Finished with You. Library of the Damned twice to build up 2 cards in the archive. Still doesn't have an Eddie. But you've got to think... Oh, he is on check, incidentally. He's got 7 amber. So Kevin needs... Oh, I see what he's done here. This is beautiful. He's got himself up to 7 amber, and he's forced Kevin to pick Logos, knowing that Kevin doesn't have much amber control in Logos. But he does have Dimension Door. That's going to be everything he needs here. For the remainder of the turn, any amber you would gain from reaping is stolen from your opponent instead. So he plays Dimension Door, reaps 3 times, steals 3 amber, and that takes Justin off of check. Oh, we did everything right with snag. Dimension Door was like the one card which was going to really keep Kevin in it here. And he got it! Oh, that was a wonderful play. Oh, Justin was trying to basically lock Kevin into grabbing a bunch of amber with Logos and then inevitably losing. Dimension Door. What a clutch use of it right there. That was beautiful. Is it going to make a difference, though? I mean, really, Justin is digging for the Eddie at this stage. Justin wants Eddie to come back out of his deck, at which point keys would cost essentially infinite amber. But it might not even be needed. Again, Justin here can go for any house and reap for 2 or 3 amber. So it looks like Javinda is reaping here. And then you deal 1 damage to a creature. If it destroys him, steal an amber. And then Ronnie Wristclocks is doing a bunch of reaping. And Javinda, the other one, is doing a bunch of reaping. Oh, takes out his own Infernus to steal an amber. That was a nice little play. It's the only way he could actually take out a creature to steal an amber. Then plays Kaimor Eclipse to shuffle the cards on a flank into the deck. And you'll see Justin there, he's got like Ronnie Wristclots going back into his deck, while Kevin's having his options lowered. And now Kevin's sitting there with 1 key, 4 amber, and a not particularly impressive battle line, while Justin's sitting there with 2 keys, 9 amber, and a moderately better battle line. I think this game is extremely close to being over. The problem is Kevin doesn't have anything like Shatterstorm or Too Much to Protect or Doorstep to Heaven. He doesn't have these giant You Shall Not Forge cards. He's got some nice options for a bit of amber control, but no giant Oh No You Don't cards. And he needs a giant Oh No You Don't card at this stage. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think he's got enough. I don't think this is going to work. But having said that, we're still playing. If you think you've got nothing left, you scoop, you go to game 2. So he must think there's something he can do. Now, Ritual of Balance will steal an amber. That's quite nice. And then Full Moon comes down. Plays a Mighty Tiger to grab an amber. And Mighty Tiger deals 4 damage to a creature when it comes in, hence Javinda going down. And now Witch of the Eye comes down, and Kevin goes on to check. And Key Charge gets him a key. This is what we needed. But his opponent has got 2 keys and is on check. He needs to have an answer for Justin's check. So Ancient Bear takes out Javinda, but there's nothing he can do, because Justin forges his 3rd key, and that's game 1. Justin wins game 1. Love the key charge from Kevin, and that's what he needed, incidentally. Kevin needed a turn where he key charged and essentially forged 2 keys in 1 turn. That's what it was going to take. Unfortunately, he didn't have that, and it was too little too late. But the good news is we are in a best of 3, so let's have a look at game 2, shall we? Now Kevin goes first. Kevin plays down a Mother. Nice turn 1 card, because you draw an extra card at the end of your turn. So he drew 1 rather than none. Oh, Justin plays a Harbinger of Doom, double Library of the Damned. Harbinger of Doom, I love it. When it gets destroyed, it board wipes both players. All creatures get destroyed. So it's like having a little self-destruct button on your side of the board. I love it. Either your opponent can take it out to wipe all the creatures, or you can throw it into something to wipe all the creatures. Now we do see an early time traveler coming down from Kevin here, grabbing an amber, drawing 2 cards, and then remote access lets him use Library of the Damned. Needs to archive a card here, but it does mean that it will be exhausted on Justin's turn, so that's not too bad. So not a bad little start. I mean, once again, really, we're going to be watching Eddie in the early stages of this game. The last game could potentially have gotten out of control were it not for Eddie. So we do grab an extra card there with Kevin using Mother. And then Tortor Vapors comes down. Draw 2, archive 1. So a card gets archived. We're now in a Logo's turn. So what other Logo stuff has he got? Hologramophone lets you ward a creature. Thorium Plasmate moves a creature and then does damage for each neighbor it shares a house with. So that takes out Time Traveler. And Hologramophone is going to be able to ward a creature every turn. You know he's going to want to use that to ward Eddie if Eddie comes out. That could be an awful lot of fun. So we do see Snecklifter coming down, and it is actually going to steal one of those Library of the Damned. But remember, I believe both players are actually playing Snecklifter in their deck here, so he can steal it back. Nerve Blast steals an amber, does a bit of damage. Another Nerve Blast. Is that free Nerve Blast? Huh. Ghostly Hand comes down, grabs a bunch of amber. If your opponent has exactly 1 amber, you steal it. His opponent had exactly 1 amber. And that's a monster turn for Kevin. He's ending the turn with 8 amber and his opponent having none. All of those Nerve Blasts right into Ghostly Hand was a brilliant play. Ha! He throws Harbinger of Doom into Mother. Mother does 5 damage to Harbinger of Doom. Everything goes down. And then Infernus is going to purge a couple of cards. Ghostly Hand and Time Traveler. Yeah, it had to be those 2. And of course, that makes Kevin lose 3 amber, which takes him off of check. That's probably one of the easiest Infernus that Justin's ever played. It had to be Time Traveler and Ghostly Hand. Firstly, they're really good cards you want to get rid of. Secondly, getting rid of them costs your opponent 3 amber. That was pretty much a given. And then he's got double Snag and Snaglet down. And all of a sudden, Justin's got a really nice board of disc creatures sitting out on the field here. So, as good as Kevin's turn was, and believe me it was, Justin seems to have counted a really good turn of his own. So what's left for Kevin here? Plays a Hunting Witch, plays another Hunting Witch to gain an amber, plays Witch of the Eye that gains 2 amber there, 1 for each of the Hunting Witch, plays a Mighty Tiger that gains another 2 amber, but you don't take out the Infernus here, you leave Infernus on the board so that your opponent cannot cycle back to it. Justin wants Infernus in the discard pile or the deck. Kevin wants it on the board so it's not posing threat from the playability, but he plays a key charge here, and this is the kind of turn that Kevin wants to be relying on to win this game. Kevin's deck is a rush deck. He doesn't have the control options that Justin's deck has, but he has turns like that, where he forges a key with key charge and still ends the turn with 4 amber. So Snag takes out Hunting Witch and incidentally locks Kevin into playing Disc next turn. Infernus takes out Witch of the Eye. Snag then takes out Hunting Witch. So now Kevin's locked into Untamed, but one of the cool things about Justin locking Kevin into Untamed here is that Justin just saw Kevin play a lot of Untamed cards. So the chances are he's actually got a fairly bad hand in terms of Untamed cards, so Justin is locking Kevin into a bad turn of Untamed. So Way of the Bear will deal 2 damage, and then Tiger will deal 4 damage to Snag, so Snag will be taken out here. Remember, Way of the Bear has Assault 2, you deal 2 damage before the fight, and then Snag does 5 to Tiger, Tiger does 4 to Snag, they both go down. But you'll notice that was all Kevin did. Snag locked Kevin into a really bad Untamed turn there, so a really heads-up play from Justin. Then we do see 2 Igor coming down. Love the consistency from Igor. And what we got? What's he got? What's he drawn into? So we've got Wormhole Technician and I want to say Quant? No, that is Titan Mechanic. No, sorry, Titan Guardian. It's the Wave 3 Titan, Titan Guardian. Plus, we've also got Eddie, and oh, would you believe it? When Eddie came down, Justin used Hologramophone to put a ward counter on. Who could possibly have predicted such an eventuality? We did. Go us, ladies and gentlemen. Go us. So we see Safe Place coming down, gaining an amber. And Library of the Damned lets Kevin archive a card. But now we've got, looks like 4 cards in the archive, which means Kevin's keys are costing 4 extra amber, 10 amber in total. Now remember what a ward counter does. It means the next time a creature would be damaged, destroyed, or otherwise removed from the board, you remove the ward counter. So this Poison Wave will do no damage to Eddie, but it will take away that ward counter. But then again, there's nothing to stop Justin next turn going for a Logos turn and using Hologramophone to put another ward counter on Eddie. And then just reaping with his Logos creatures. Could work. And that's the awkward thing. When that ward counter goes away, do you... Because having Hologramophone and Eddie on the board at the same time is the dream. That's what you're looking for. But there is a temptation to go for Logos to keep that rolling when actually there are better combos in your hand. So Trust No One comes down, steals an amber. Ronnie Wristclocks comes down, steals an amber. It's Shadows. It's kind of what they do. It's kind of their thing. Mug comes down. Amber bonus. Move 1 amber from a creature to your pool. Deal 2 damage to that creature. It's really good against Dexter, incidentally, which Kevin has in abundance. And then we see the turn ending with... I mean, it's about board position, really, for Justin here. He's down 1 key to 0, and he's actually got less amber on the board than Kevin. But he's building up the board quite nicely. He's got his Eddie. He's got his Library of the Damned. He's got his Hologramophone. And it's not like Kevin's got some massive board position, right? He's got 2 artifacts and no creatures. And one of the artifacts he had to nick from Justin. You can tell by the sleeves that Library of the Damned actually belongs to Justin. As a quick side note, right, when you're playing Keyforge, there are a bunch of cards now that let you steal your opponent's cards. Do be careful you get them back, or else you're playing with an illegal deck and you get a game loss. Don't be that person. So Ancient Bear comes down. Actually uses Vigor to heal his opponent's Snag. Heal up to 3 damage from a creature. If you healed 3 damage, gain an amber. So he healed Snag there to gain the amber. Oh, and then he plays Nature's Call, getting Eddie and Snag back to Justin's hand. And he's basically going, look, I know I'm going to play Nature's Call to get your Snag rid of anyway, so I'm going to heal it to gain an amber in the meantime. That's nice. Now, that pretty much locks Justin into a Logos turn now. One of the cool things about... I say that, he's clearly going to go non-Logos here, isn't he? One of the cool things about Eddie is it's a permanent skill. So it's not an action. You don't have to wait for Eddie to become unexhausted and then use it. Ready is the word. You can just play it down and it immediately works. So that's a really, really nice option. Oh, yeah, there we go. He's gone for this. Oh, okay, here's the reason why. He knows he can use Infernus. Yeah. Gets rid of Key Charge. And then... he's put his opponent down to 6 amber, and then he's got Rock Grub. So Rock Grub takes away an amber, Infernus getting rid of a card with an amber bonus gets rid of an amber, and now Kevin's on 5, he's off of check, life is good for Justin. He needs to put Eddie down, but he doesn't need to put Eddie down until it's the only way to stop Kevin forging a key. And the combination of Infernus and Rock Grub here did that very nicely, such that he didn't need to stop Kevin forging a key, he didn't need Eddie to stop him forging a key, so he was fine with it. And now he's got that really nice board setup. He's got a snag down and a buzzle as well. It's a good times. So he plays down Nerve Blast to steal an amber and take out Rock Grub. And put himself back on check for now. Umber comes down. Safe Place protects one of his amber, so that's quite nice. Library of the Damned lets him archive a card. And looking at his hand is so he's got 3 Logos cards, 2 Shadows cards, and a Hysteria from Dis. Although he does have 3 Dis creatures on the board, so he could just go, he could go Reap, 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 play Hysteria, everyone picks up their creatures, and then he replays Infernus to purge another 2 cards from his opponent's discard pile. Oh, I'd be tempted for that play, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that looks like what he's going for. And he is actually purging his creature so that he can ready it again. This is nice. Yeah. Oh, that is beautiful. That's a really good play. Now he is reaping with Snag. Oh, no, he's fighting, to lock Kevin into Shadows next turn. Now he plays Hysteria to pick up his creatures. And they're exhausted anyway, so we might as well play him down exhausted, except he gets the other use of Infernus. Now, I was talking earlier about keeping Infernus on the board, so your opponent cannot cycle through their deck, get it out of the discard pile, and use it again. Because remember, when you run out of deck, your discard pile becomes your deck. But then, of course, it opens up plays like this with Hysteria. Now, he's getting rid of Remote Access and Nerve Blast. So he only takes 1 amber away from Kevin, but clearly Justin's getting sick of those Nerve Blasts. Although Justin is well aware there are 3 of them in Kevin's deck. Being able to have 2 Infernus and then reuse some of them really does give you a hearty advantage. Now, Ghostly Hand comes down to gain 2 amber. Though you don't get to steal an amber, you only steal 1 if your opponent only has 1 amber. And clearly here, Justin has more than 1. He's got 4. Now, one thing, and Safe Place gets another amber there. One thing we need to track here. Justin hasn't actually forged a key yet. He's played good keep away, he's played good defense, but he hasn't actually forged a key and he's only got 4 amber. And playing keep away only works for so long. Now here comes down Eddie. And then, just so much archiving. And now we got Hologramophone to ward Eddie, keep him on the field a bit longer. And here's the thing. When we look at the 2 deck lists, Kevin's deck list clearly is capable of rushing way better than Justin's. But Justin has, ridiculous amber control. It's not just Eddie. It's Eddie, it's Infernus, it's too much to protect. He's actually got quite good amber control in all 3 of his houses. So sometimes he's going to win with games like this, where he plays rather slowly, and the game takes a while, but he just wears his opponent down. And even though he's not forging keys very fast, neither is his opponent, and it turns into a victory for Justin. Look at those purged cards. All those purged cards on Kevin's side of the board. They're all gone for the game. Eddie in the right deck. I mean, just having Infernus, double Infernus is great. Having Eddie is great. I mean, Worlds Collide has got some good tricks, and they all seem to be in Justin's deck at this stage. Sorry, and I'm fawning over Justin's deck quite a bit. It's because in the games we've seen so far, Justin's deck has been doing what Justin's deck aims to do. And Kevin's deck, here's a library access turn. We saw that great key charge turn from Kevin, but he doesn't have key charge, remember, now it's been purged. Oh, and then we see Wild Wormhole. So get an amber, draw a card, and then you play the top card of your deck, which is a Dexter, play it, capture an amber, and then you draw a card because you played Dexter. And again, we're back into potential rushing territory here, depending on what he's got in his hand. And what his options are. I mean, he's played Library Access. Yeah, he's got a bunch more Logos cards there. He's just slow rolling us. He's got more. But again, the order in which he plays them might be important for what he's planning, so we give him a minute. So down comes Help from Future Self. There will be no Time Traveler, remember, Time Traveler got purged. But it just lets you search your deck and blah, blah, blah. So we're all right with that. And now we're going to be moving forward, hopefully drawing a bunch more cards. And maybe Kevin can rush enough here. I mean, he's got one key. He's got a lot of amber. That key charge being purged is so huge. Because what Kevin could potentially do here is go, right, I cannot forge because of Eddie, but I don't really care. I'm going to take a big turn. I mean, Mighty Tiger, when you play it, does 4 damage to a creature. That can take out Eddie. So you can potentially, although you would need to get rid of the ward counter. Now, Dimension Door's coming down here, but it's not going to have a huge effect. Oh, and Fogify, no fighting next turn to your opponent. But what you can essentially do is just, I can't forge, build up lots of amber, then take Eddie out, key charge, forge another key, win the game really quickly. But key charge is gone, so that's not an option for him anymore. Now, we do see Mother coming down, and we see Doc Buckton coming down. Remember, every time he plays a card, he's still drawing. We're still in the Library Access turn. And we have, I mean, this is an awkward game, right? He's got 8 amber, but there's no way that's enough to forge a key. So even though he's got 8 amber, he's not on check. And he's probably not particularly close to being on check. Huh. So we do just see a bunch of reaping here. Reap with Buzzle, reap with Infernus, reap with Snag. Just build up his amber quite nicely. And he's not on check. He's still got 5 amber. But look at his board. I mean, if he just goes for this next turn, he's got Infernus, Buzzle, Infernus, Snag, Rock Grub, Snaglet. That's 6 amber just from reaping. So you see where he's going with this. He's building up a gigantic battle line for some big plays later on. And since he's got Eddie and Eddie's warded, and also, right, huge win for Justin, Eddie survived a turn with the ward counter, so it meant that Justin could go off of Logos for a turn, he could flick back onto this, and he still isn't then in a position where he's lost Eddie. So that's kind of cool. Okay. So, looks like we're at the end of Justin's turn. Looks like Kevin is up. What's he got? I mean, he's clearly ahead in the game. Does he try rushing? He's lost Time Traveler, he's lost Library Access, he's lost Key Charge. A lot of his best rushing cards are unfortunately purged and out of the game. But might he have some other way to go about doing this? There's a lot of thinking going on. Okay, so now Doc Buckton reaps to gain an amber and he draws a card. Plays a Wild Wormhole to get an amber. Play the top card of his deck. It's a Poison Wave. Oh, so Jargoggle goes away. That card gets archived. Rock Grub goes away. Eddie loses a ward counter. And then a lot of damage gets done. Poison Wave is a risky play. Wild Wormhole makes you just lose. It makes you play the top card of your deck. Regardless of what the top card of your deck is, Wild Wormhole forces you to play it. So Dexter now... Oh, okay. Now Dexter takes out Eddie, and this is working nicely. Now Kevin is very much back on check. He's got a lot of amber. He's got 8 amber there. He only needs 6 to forge a key now. He's up 1 key to 0. Although, to be fair, Justin is on check, and it doesn't look like Kevin's done anything about it yet. Dexter takes out Snag. That Poison Wave has worked out really well for him. What does he do with Mother? You got to think he wants to keep Mother on the board. And there's nothing he can attack that wouldn't take him out. Chooses to take out the Buzzle and loses Mother, so no, he doesn't have to keep Mother on the board. But now we're looking a bit better. 8 amber, he's on check. Now Justin has just forged a key, so Kevin has now got his first key. And the real question here is how much amber can he get and how quickly? Has he purged enough cards from Kevin to make it easier to rush to victory? Yes. And now we see what we saw previously. Look at that hand. Now Too Much to Protect comes down. And this is the redonk thing about Eddie. Even after Eddie goes down and you think it's bad, you then just have a nuts turn. So play Neck Lifter, takes the safe place with the amber. Now plays a mug, get an amber bonus. Oh, this is beautiful. And look at his hand. It seems like he's done that thing I'm always talking about. Down comes Javinda. Away goes Bad Penny. Down comes Umbra. Down comes Javinda. Down goes Whisper. We play Trust No One to steal an amber. We play Ronnie Wristclocks to steal an amber. We play Ronnie Wristclocks to steal an amber. I'm not stuttering. He did the same thing twice. And now he is on check. His opponent is not on check. And he's got 7 Shadows creatures on the board. And that's the other thing that's so great about this deck. You build up a giant archive, you use Eddie to stop your opponent forging, and then your opponent finally gets rid of Eddie and you go, I'll pick up my archive of 8 cards and play 10 Shadows cards in a turn. Oh, cheeky. So he plays Neck Lifter to get Safe Place back. For anyone that's been wondering, that Safe Place has switched 4 times now? Switched a lot anyway. And now Kevin's back on check. To be fair, Justin is also on check. Justin's got 6 amber and needs 6 to forge a key next turn. But remember, Kevin's on check. And remember that Safe Place, you can't steal amber from there. You can get rid of the artifact and the amber goes away, but you can't steal from Safe Place. So, Kevin has got 7 amber, so Justin needs to get rid of 2 of them. So Umbra fights Umbra, steals an amber. I wish you had a way to ready Umbra. Then Javinda takes out Doc Bookton, steals an amber. So now we're good. And honestly, we've still got 5 Shadows creatures here. So Snecklifter takes out Umbra. Still got Ronnie Wristclocks, Javinda, Whisper, and the other Ronnie Wristclocks. So Whisper here gets rid of Snecklifter. Javinda destroys his own Whisper and steals an amber. Remember, if you destroy one of your own creatures, you still steal an amber. Ronnie reaps to gain an amber. Ronnie reaps to gain an amber. Again, not stuttering. It happened twice. And all of a sudden, then now, it's flipped all around. Justin has now up 2 keys to 1, and he's on check. And this is what I've been saying during this game. Justin can play a slower game. In the first, 6, 7 turns of this game, Justin did nothing. He was behind for ages. He was slowing his opponent down with Eddie. He was building up a huge archive, and then he just went, bleh, and just played all those cards down at once. Now, the good news is Kevin had double Dexter, steal 2 Amber, keep the game going. But he's not on check here. He's got 4 Amber on board. So he's done that thing where he stopped Justin forging for 2 minutes, but he's not actually stopped him. So Umbra is now going to fight and steal an Amber. And now Jay Vinder's going to reap and do a bit of damage, get the Amber back from Dexter. And then we see more reaping for more Amber. And then the other Dexter takes 2 damage. And now Ronnie takes out Dexter. And now we've just got so much. And I think that might be it. And it is! Kevin concedes and Justin wins a Pax Unplugged Vault Tour with Worlds Collide, our first Worlds Collide Archon Vault Tour champion. Congratulations to Justin, that was a wonderful game, and you saw how his deck worked beautifully. Slowly, 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 and you can see that we've got, the Double Infernus was huge, Eddie was huge, Library of the Damned was huge, a very, very good deck. Take nothing away from Kevin. That was absolutely wonderful. Huge shout out to both the players and a huge thank you to the lovely folks over at Bouncing Deathquark for allowing me to use the footage and add the commentary. Those guys are absolutely brilliant. Now, I will link both their Discord and their YouTube in the in the description. Please do make sure you check them out. They're wonderful dudes. Give them a bit of love. For now, tell me what you think about this game. Tell me what cards you saw you liked. Tell me what you thought the main plays were. Go nuts in the comment section, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Keyforge and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.